friends, this is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and today I want to talk about what I want to see coming to Star Wars Galaxy Heroes in 2019. Now, there's a lot of really cool stuff on the horizon for Star Wars as a whole, and I'm going to talk about that later this week in another video. But based on my research, based on what I've seen and predicting what I think we could see, there's a lot of really cool stuff in and around the next year, maybe even year and a half. I think even year and a half. Now, with that, guys, I just want to remind you, they do have a road ahead. Even if they don't share it with us, they do have a road ahead planned out for at least 2 years in advance. Now, sometimes things get shifted around, as we can look at from the General Grievous rework that I believe was set to come in October to commemorate the 10-year anniversary of Clone Wars, and to coincide with the Star Wars Battlefront release of General Grievous. And I think that would have been a great opportunity to have like vertical synergy or whatever companies call it nowadays. But based on that, the first thing that I honestly think that I would love to see in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, or revolving around Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, is the saving of Arnold T101's channel. Now, hashtag save Arnold T101. He has, at the creating of this video, 1 day for Capital Games to come out and say, hey, Arnold, yes, we are reworking Grievous. Now, I think Arnold's a great guy. He's got a great following. Like, probably almost all of the people who follow me also follow him. He's very knowledgeable, and he's a lot of fun to be around. I got to meet him once in February of last year, and he's a really, really solid, really stand-up guy. And I think he'll stand by it that he will delete his channel if we don't see a Grievous rework by the end of the year. Now, at the same time, I think he will rise like the Phoenix when if he does, any new channel that he creates will just be that much better. I think that it's very possible that he will be saved, that something will come in the last hour, the last minute, and say, hey, yeah, we're giving Grievous a rework. Now, personally, and I said this in a tweet earlier today, that even if they just come out and say, hey, we're going to be reworking him, that is in the cards. I don't think he should take down his channel. That's just a lot of extra work that he doesn't need. But with that, I do think the first thing that I want to see in January is a Clone Wars era rework. Now, I do want to see more of it coming to pass when we get the Clone Wars Season 7, which I think is set to launch with the Disney Plus app, which is set to launch sometime in the fall of next year in 2019. So there's a lot coming, but I think we should start getting a Star Wars Clone Wars era rework, and we should start with the Separatist. Start with Grievous. Give us a Grievous rework. Give us a rework of the troops that we already have in the Clone Wars. I mean, in the Clone Wars era for the Separatist. If we take a look at the current Separatist, we kind of need a rework of a few different groups here. Definitely, we need a rework of the droids, because of the droids, really, and this is fascinating, or of the Separatist faction, which is made up entirely of droids, or predominantly of droids. There are three freaking droids. I don't know why I did it like that, but three droids. That doesn't really coincide with the actual faction. I mean, they were a group of droids. I mean, we don't have the B2 battle droid. I mean, the B2 super battle droid's awesome. I love it. We have 4 Geonosians, and they're solid, but they themselves need a rework, and I won't even get into those. And Grievous, obviously, is pretty terrible. But I don't think Asajj needs a rework. Dooku needs some touches. I don't think he needs a full-on, in-depth, balls to the wall, crazy rework. But he does. Newt, I think they should just leave Newt Gunray alone, because every time they touch Newt, the people get pissed. And for those of you who remember Brotini or the New Teeny team, it was a solid team that worked really well in the heroic tank, but just not great. And every time they touch Newt, I think they just need to let him be. Leave him be. Leave Newt Gunray alone. But we do need some additions. We need a droidica. We need a B2 battle droid. We need a battle droid on an STAAP. I think that would be awesome. I think that as far as ships go, and this is where it would be really cool, the first ship that also doesn't have a character attached to it could be the Vulture droid. Now, the Vulture droid was that ship that kind of turned around, and this is a great impression of what a Vulture droid looks like. It was, very much Vulture-y, but it didn't have a pilot. It was the droid itself, and so that would be really cool to have a droid without an actual a ship without an actual fighter to go with it. Because think about that, you wouldn't have to farm 2 freaking different nodes. You would just have to farm one, and that would be awesome. But the Separatists, they need some love. They do, and we've all said it. We've all seen it. I mean, I don't know. They do. They need some solid love, and they need some work. The Jedi for the Clone Wars era. If we want to specifically look at Galactic Republic, because that is really what I mean here, there aren't a ton of characters that need a ton of reworks here. I think Ahsoka Tano and Jedi Knight Anakin are solid for what they are. I don't think they need to be completely reworked. I do think we need a new Anakin, right? It's a straight up new Anakin just needs to be added to the game. I'm still not entirely convinced that we need a new General Kenobi or a rework of General Kenobi. Even with the power creep, his kit is so awesome that it's hard to say, hey, yeah, give us a new Kenobi. I really don't know if we need one. Or a rework. But if you look at some of these other guys, Eth Koth, Ima Gundai, or I'm a Gonna Die, Clone Wars Chewie, not great. Kit Fisto, Ayla Secura, Plo Koon, all of those need some reworks. All of those need love. Not to mention Cup, Jedi Knight Guardian, Clone Troop, Clone Sergeant. And I mentioned this earlier. Clone Sergeant needs to have his name changed and just switched. Because all of the other clones have some kind of tag. You've got Rex, Fives, Echo, Cody. Clone Sergeant has an actual character name. I forget it. It escapes me at the moment now. But he just needs to have his name changed, and then he needs to be tweaked a little bit. But a lot of these characters just need a little bit of love. Some of the other Jedi need some hands down solid, like hardcore, inappropriate love giving to them. Love that hurts a little bit because their kits need to be completely readjusted. And I won't even get into the new Jedi that need to be added to this game because there are a buttload of new Jedi that need to be added to this game that need to. February has predominantly been a month of Sith, right? Because February, it's a month of passion, it's a month of love, and it's a month of like taking what you want, and that's the Sith, right? That's just the Sith. If they go with the KOTOR theme that we've seen in the past, this is what I want, and this is what I actually think is going to happen. I think we are going to see a Darth Revan being introduced into the game, and I think we'll see it as a legendary event. Now, the reason I think we'll actually have Clone Wars era stuff in January and then a Darth Revan in February is because that's what they like to do. They like to say, hey, here's some really cool stuff that I want you to pay attention to, and then boom, blindside you with something in the next month. Now, the idea behind that actually makes a lot of sense because this game caters to a number of different player types. Some people love the arena. Some people love the grand arena. I'm really liking it, actually. I'm a collector myself. I love just collecting the different pieces. To me, that's what the enjoyment that I get out of. I'm like the grind of getting like the worst Toons up. That's what I love to do, but that's just me. And I'm just one archetype of players. Like there's a lot of different people out there. And so they're like, hey, here's something for one type of players in January. Here's something for another type of players in February. February, I'm going to say they're going to go with KOTOR stuff. I think that what we're going to see in February is a few different things. Like I said, Darth Revan. But with Darth Revan, I think we're going to see a Darth Malak introduced. I don't know if it'll flat out be a new raid. That would be cool, but not necessarily what I think we're going to see. I think we're going to see the Ebon Hawk introduced because we already have Carth Onasi. I mean, he was the pilot. He is the pilot of the Ebon Hawk, so why not give us the freaking ship? I think if we do get a Darth Malak, I think we'll see his capital ship being introduced as the Leviathan. I think that it's very possible that that's what's coming. If we see Malak at all as a playable character, it's possible if he is introduced that they could introduce him as a marquee or as just some kind of special character, because a lot of the other capital ships, if they introduce him with a capital ship, haven't come, well, at least the fleet commanders haven't come in more than just a normal event, right? Most of them came just straight off the bat. They were playing from the beginning of the game. But I would love to see Malak introduced, and I would love to see Revan, Darth Revan. And as I have said, if they're going to introduce a Darth Revan, give us an HK-47 rework. Oh my gosh. Please. We need him. We need him bad, because he would be phenomenal. Now, with that, expect that. And part of the reason why I say all this is because, the Dark Side KOTOR Toons will be farmable by February. So that's what we saw with Light Side Revan. Maybe we'll see it with Darth Side Revan. Now, moving on, mythic tiers to the Rancor and the tank. Now, I made a video of what a Rancor mythic tier would look like. I think we should, and I think we could and should see that at the beginning of this year. I do not want to see a mythic tank raid tagged on at the same time. I think that would be way too much for the group, for the community. I think it's a lot of additional work, and I just don't think that it's right to do. I think mythic tank raid, give us 6 months, give us 8 months, and then give us time to dominate the mythic Rancor, and then, right? Now, with those two things, I do think it's possible that a power creep will happen. G12 will be available, maybe additional Zetas, additional areas to farm Zetas. I don't think that'll be the case, because farming Zetas via a raid would be a lot. But I still think it's possible we could have something to that extent. We could also see a Gear 13 coming around with a mythic Rancor raid or a mythic tank raid. That would be cool. I'm not holding my breath at all. Now, next, stuff from The Last Jedi. Like, seriously, where is Old Man Luke? Where is General Leia? Where is Mary Poppins Leia? Now, I know a lot of people are like, that's stupid, don't put her in the game. Read the book. Read the book. That whole scene makes it a lot better. The book always makes it better, but I'm just that kind of a guy. There's a lot of stuff from that era, from that movie, that we could add. The bombers at the very beginning. Why don't we have more resistance bombing ship, or just resistance ships? It doesn't make sense. Definitely need to see a lot more from that era. Like, hands down, we need to see a lot more from that era. It's ridiculous that we don't have more from that era. Now, moving on, and this is something that I'm confident we're not going to see. Confident we're not going to see, but I want it. And that's stuff from the comics. There's some really cool stuff out there, guys, from the comics. If you're not reading them, you need to be. Find a place online that has them. They're great. Just do a quick Google search. I'm confident that you can find them. There's some awesome storylines out there. If you haven't read the Darth Vader storyline, first and foremost, that's what we need. Another freaking Vader. Give us Anakin Vader, that'd be fine, but give us Darth Vader from the Darth Vader comics. Oh my gosh, that would be like murderous rampage. If you want a character who would be so OP that would break the game, Darth Vader from the comics is your character. My goodness, it is phenomenal, guys. Find it, read it, love it, because it is great. But you've also got like Dr. Aphra, and she's a really cool character. You've got Triple Z and BT. You've got Sansa Solo. You've got a lot of really cool characters, a lot of really cool underworld characters that aren't associated with Empire or, the Rebellion, that really could come into this, that would make the game just awesome. It would be really, really cool. Now, with that, I think we could see a new ship, a new raid. Now, it's very possible because we've gotten one every year so far, and it makes sense, right? Every year we get a new raid. We could see one here. Now, I don't necessarily think that the mythic tier of the Rancor raid or the mythic tier of whatever raid comes after that will take the place of a new raid. I do think that it would be cool and very possible to see a ship raid. Especially, they've been putting a lot of additional effort into the ships. I think giving us a ship raid like the Death Star, like Starkiller Base, or as some of you know it, Death Star 3.0, right? Because that's essentially what it is. It would be cool. Now, I don't see a Starkiller Base coming in without a ton of resistance stuff coming up, right? I see a Starkiller Base being more of a territory battles or a territory battle map with like ships and stuff, more than a new raid. But that would be really cool. Definitely a raid on the Death Star would be awesome. Now, that leads me to new territory battle maps, guys. I love Hoth. It is freaking sweet. It is, I love it. It's awesome. I do. It's really cool. It was awesome. But they said in the beginning that Hoth was the first of many. And if I can find the quote, I'll put it up there. But we need more. Two that I would love to see is Endor and the Battle of Coruscant. Give us a Dark Side Order 66, where we can use the clones to attack the Jedi Temple. Or the Battle of Coruscant, where we see the battle taking over the city of Coruscant. The one that was shown in the OG Clone Wars, not the one that we all love, but the one that, like, the anime-ish one before that, right? That would be cool. Both of those wars, both of those battles were freaking awesome and would be sweet. Now, finally, guys, one thing before I go. Holy crap, I've talked for 18 minutes. I'll probably have to cut this down a lot. But there's one character that is in this game that we need. You guys know who it is. Hondo Ohnaka. I think Hondo would be awesome. I think he would be great. I think he could be part of a greater piece that is neither light nor dark, but is neutral. And someone commented the other day, is like, give it up on the neutral tag. We're not going to get one. We have one. It's in the game. The neutral tag is in the game, but there's no characters associated with it. I think and hope that sometime this year we will see neutral characters being added to this game. That is my thought. Those are the things that I want for 2019. 2018's been a pretty good year, guys. I've really, really enjoyed it. What do you think will happen in 2019? Do you think the game's gonna blow up and have another million people download it? Is it gonna continue on? Are we gonna get more and more stuff? Are they gonna focus more on storytelling, or are they gonna go back to more of the PvP? I think we're going to see a little bit of both, but more leaning to PvP. Leave a comment in the section below. Like, subscribe, share. This has been Thaddeus from Going Nerdy. And as always, my friends, stay nerdy.